I had people who attempted suicide.
Wow.
And one kid was successful. And they're human.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to deal with that. Like any of us who've lived in this leisure and privilege in America wouldn't last 2 weeks.
Right.
We would not last 2 weeks. All of us would be like, oh my God, like I want out. Like just rid me. Like we wouldn't last. There's no way. We're so comfortable and privileged here that there's no way we could do what they're doing.
You are now listening to the Arab is Me podcast.
Ahlan wa sahlan to the Arab is Me podcast. Watchers and listeners around the world. My name is Durrah. I am the host of the Arab is Me podcast. And as you can see, if you are watching, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But if you're watching, you can see I am joined by an amazing guest today. We have Lana, a.k.a. Nurse Lana, a.k.a. Author Lana, a.k.a. Advocate Lana, aka she wears many hats, mashallah. We're so happy to have you here, Lana. Thanks for joining us on the Arab is Me podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me, dude. That music was tripping me out that you had playing. Oh my gosh, it was like Debka meets Arabian Nights meets EDM meets techno. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Our Arab is Me podcast music is starting to catch attention on like social media. People are like, who is that? I'm like, guys, you think I really would put out this podcast and get sued? Like, we made the music.
AI.
So don't worry. But I'm happy to have you with us here on the Arab is Me podcast, Lana. For those who don't know, Lana, when I said AKA Nurse Lana, she's done amazing, what I'm going to be calling superhero work, mashallah. In Gaza, you witnessed a genocide, and you were able to come back and tell about it. Also, though, what people don't know about Lana is also a business owner. So she's an entrepreneur, mashallah. She's a volunteer. And Lana took home recently the title of Miss Arab USA at the National Pageant 2026. Mrs.
It's the geriatric portion. It's for the old ladies.
Can we need to explain this to everybody because you explained it to me. My wife explained it to me.
Yeah.
And Haney, I messed it up already. There's a difference between Miss and Mrs.
Yes, apparently So the Mrs. portion is brand new. This is the first time ever that they've done it. And it's like women from the ages of like 30 to 45. And then the Miss pageant has been going on for 17 years now. And that's like 18 to 29.
So is there an equivalent Mr. and Ammo Arab USA or something? Or is this another double standard or what's going on?
No, there isn't one. You should get on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Showcase our men.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of afraid on what that would look like. But congratulations on that. And before we really get going and get deep into this, I was telling you, Lana, that like I try to keep it 100 when it comes to like our Arabness. So as you know, the Arab is Me podcast is very much like you're coming over or we're getting all together for dinner and shai and ahwa and sweets and all that good stuff. So the first question that I have for you, because I like to judge all of my guests right off the bat, so I know, how friendly I should be with you based on your answers, is if we were all getting together for a dinner and you chose the menu, Lana, what are you putting on the table? And be careful in your responses, by the way. I'm kind of an expert on this stuff. So,
Metluba is my favorite.
Okay, this is a good start.
Metluba and probably waraq dawali.
Okay.
And hummus. There's always got to be hummus.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that's the lettuce stuff, or
what?
I've heard about it. Salata.
Oh yeah, it's like some lettuce and like tomatoes and cucumbers, things like that. Yeah.
Got it.
I think I would make those the main. And
Okay.
Ramadan, there's sambusa and soup with that.
Okay. Now, Lana has scored extra points in her response. I'm just letting for anybody who comes on the podcast after hearing this. I always give people extra points for something she just did. So I want everyone to know Lana said the word and. She said ma'luba and and hummus. She's building a real sofra here. So for those who say ma'luba or, that shows me you really aren't really building your sofra out. It doesn't mean ma'luba can't stand on its own, but I like hearing and. I think we're an and culture. So great job. 2 extra points. I don't know who's keeping track of the points, but it's 2 extra points.
I will. I'm competitive, as you can tell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I actually want to start with what do they call that, by the way, you're wearing? Is that a sash or what is it called?
A sash. Yep.
A sash. Okay, good. All right, good.
This is the only one I was able to keep. They take the real one.
Yeah. Wow.
They take that and the crown. Yeah.
Low budget. Well, what's going on?
It's got to be away from food. It can't get dirty. I can't wear it with certain colors and outfits. I have to get approval to wear it. It's a big ordeal.
See, that's where Mr. Arab USA thing would fall apart, because I would argue that a little bit of food, a little bit of maybe some semna or some shatta on it makes it even like
more character.
More prideful to wear. Anyway, that's amazing. Do you want to spend any time at all kind of giving us a sense on like where this idea in your mind kind of what made you kind of look at that and go, that's me, I got to jump in? I know you said you're competitive, but like you can go drive down the street and be competitive.
No, I'm not a pageant girl. So actually, so a couple of things. So I remember just like thinking, when I was younger, sadly, let me rewind. Sadly, I do feel like the Arab nations are helping to eliminate us. They're not really doing anything to save Palestine, right? So I figured I would join this platform because I remember growing up watching beauty pageants and the Olympics and, concerts, whatever. There was never Palestinian representation. I don't remember seeing a Miss Palestine. I don't remember seeing a Team Palestine in the Olympics and whatnot. So we need to get in those spaces and let them know that we still exist. We are here. We should infiltrate all the things. And so that was one reason. The other reason was to utilize that platform to do more advocacy, and then also working on deprogramming, because the title holder goes to orphanages, children's hospitals and schools and like mayor's offices and whatnot. And it's to show them, like, be forward facing. Look, I'm Palestinian. I am a nurse. I am a healer. I am kind. I'm a good person. I'm not a terrorist. So to kind of deprogram people about Palestinians and their negative thoughts.
Which is good, because I don't know if do you remember the old like Miss USA pageant or something where the lady was like, and the Iraq, and give them maps so they can find Iraq? It was the worst answer.
Yeah. I stumbled on mine. We don't want to go there. We're not talking about it. Well, moving on.
No, but that's like amazing.
My ADD kicked in and I just like midway got distracted with cheers that I was like, wait, what was I talking about? And then the anxiety kicked in and I was like, holy crap, I forgot what I'm talking about. What do I say? What do I do? And I just like ended my answer.
It's funny because when anybody comes on our podcast, like they fill out a little questionnaire to give us like little insights and stuff like that. And so one of the things that you mentioned was that a thing that people don't know about you is that you're shy. And I was like, okay, a shy author with a shy social media presence, with a shy pageant entry that you just won. Mashallah, a lot of shyness.
That's Gaza. That's Gaza pushing me out of my comfort zone to do what I have to do to speak out against what's happening there. Honestly, that's literally Gaza. Because without that, there's no way I would do any of this. Like, I'm really shy and this is extremely uncomfortable. And you could tell if you watch the pageant, like, it looks like I'm like, somebody shoot me right now. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this to myself? Like self-sabotage. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I look so uncomfortable, but I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I'm doing whatever it takes to get the word out there.
Right, right. So do you feel like, let's say 10 years ago, you were you were just as connected with like your Arab roots? It's just Gaza like put it in overdrive, or do you feel like 10 years ago it was like, yeah, I'm Arab, that's cool. But
So I always have been going to protests since I was a kid. So
okay.
like I was always in the DC protests. Like anytime there was a protest, I was there. So that's always been like my parents used to kid and call me Hanan Ashrawi Zghira, like when I was younger. So like I always have been passionate about it. And yeah, Gaza definitely threw me into overdrive. Bearing witness to a genocide will definitely throw you into overdrive. It's the survivor's guilt, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's something crazy to walk away from a death trap, like
Yeah.
leisurely walking away, like, okay, bye guys. I get to go to America and you guys are stuck here. And it's
Yeah.
that'll brain F you, and it'll push you out of your comfort zone to do whatever to get this to stop.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit then about like kind of your bloodlines, I know you're East Coast DMV person, but like what tell me more about like kind of where your family is from and like what your ties are to like the Arab world.
Yeah. So sadly, my whole family is pretty silent.
Yeah.
Politically, they don't like to get involved
Yeah.
because my great uncle was a powerful man in the past,
Yeah.
around 48.
Yeah.
He was very involved politically, and because of that, he was punished, and so were his relatives, and they've been punished to silence. And
Mm.
so it has trickled down to like the whole family, where everyone just stays quiet because they don't want to mess with the law or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one in the whole family that's like outspoken about this. Everyone else is like, because of our great uncle, God
Oh
rest his,
wow.
who,
Okay.
yeah, was a hero.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. And to me, I know obviously with a lot of my family being from Gaza, um, I feel like I've had a lot of moments of sometimes questioning like what am I doing, like what am I doing here, like what if my mom never left Gaza, like what would I be doing there, like would I be able to handle it, I'm sure, when you're talking about like survivor's guilt, I'm sure, I don't know, I almost want to assume that it's like double what I could potentially feel, because like you you were here but you also were there while everything is happening and then came back here. So can you unpack that a little bit as to like kind of what that feeling is like? I don't know why I just envision a taxi or a van taking you out of Gaza and
No,
just kind of looking back through the windshield, like
like
you know
the first time around, um, I didn't process what I saw. Like I was on go mode. So it was just work mode, work mode, work mode. Like I didn't even process the things I was seeing. It literally took me about 2 months before it hit. And out of nowhere, like I was in bed one day and it just hit me like a truck. Like, damn, I bore witness to a genocide. I was actually amidst a genocide and I left these people. And I mean, I remember crying on my way out, like in the bus, like on the bus ride out. I was like looking at all the destruction and crying because I was like, this is probably the last time I'll ever be able to step foot on this land.
yeah.
And so I was really upset about that. But it literally took me about 2 months to process. Damn, that was an actual genocide that I was in. Like it's wild. And so then I was like extremely depressed, like couldn't get out of bed, was crying every day, all day. Like it just hit like a ton of bricks. Like it took me a while to process it.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that happened.
Yeah.
So then I mean, it's that leisure. It's just mind boggling. It's like, wow, how come I can go, but they can't? Like, why aren't they allowed to evacuate? This is making no sense. And you just want to grab everybody and be like, come on the bus with me. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But it's my people, right? It's my
Yeah.
roots.
Yeah.
My great uncle was born in Khan Yunis, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. So in his book, he wrote, he was talking about how he was born in Khan Yunis. I mean, so I'm from Hebron, which
Yeah.
is Al Khalil, which is right next to Gaza.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and it's like those are my people I'm leaving behind, my roots, my blood, it's all there. And I'm just like, bye.
Which by the way, this is going to sound controversial. A lot of the families that are in Al Khalil, um, I don't know. It's to me, it's that area is a different vibe. Like
I've only been there once.
I went there and I actually taught comedy at a school.
Oh wow.
And
They don't
so
need to be taught. They're all funny naturally.
but guess what? They were so much of their comedy, understandably so, had tragedy woven into it.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, how do you write jokes? How do you do this? How do you do that? And so I'm sitting there hearing, and I'm like, all right, start. And I'm not making this up. Like, they would say, there was this one time, I was telling them, like, I was basically trying to teach them how for their own use, for their own entertainment, they can also take pain and turn it into an art form, and so they would start by telling me, there was this one time that, my mom got mad at me. And I would say, all right, great. Let's start there. Why'd your mom get mad at you? And I'm not even kidding. They would say something like, well, their friend was shot at and their foot was bleeding, and they brought him into the house after she had just cleaned. And so their mom was like, what are you doing? And they're like, ha, 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 whoops, ha, ha, ha. The person was okay. Their foot was okay, but ha, ha, ha.
It's a Tuesday.
And so I was like, yeah, let's start with that, and rather than avoid it, I kind of leaned into it. And I was like, yeah, what did she say? And everyone in this little class started kind of like laughing, and we're telling this story on how the mom was taking the ship, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like screaming at them and stuff. And it became, funny for them, and they all started laughing. But I don't know, like, and a couple of other comedians that were with me were like, only Saeed, because they were like shell shocked, and they were like, what do we even say to this? And so I was like, yeah, then malared. Sure, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It obviously meant a lot to me to be able to do that. And I also knew I wasn't there trying to get them to change their thoughts and their minds and stuff. I was like, no, don't get rid of it. This is not some kid out of America coming in here telling you.
It's therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah. And part of me, and I want your opinion on this, because I don't know if I'm thinking about this the right way, but I agree that the people in Gaza are super strong. That I say I'm Ghazawi because my mom's family, but like I don't. After everything that's happened over the last 2 to 3 years, I have trouble even saying that, because I'm like, I don't feel of them because of how amazing they are and how strong and resilient and just courageous they are. But part of me, and I'd love your opinion on this, part of me hates saying that, because I feel like I'm saying it to make myself feel better with the fact that I can't help, right? So like if you were lost somewhere, Lana, and I knew I couldn't drive to come, help you fix your tire, I would be like, she's resourceful, and it's, in a way, I'm saying it because like I don't want to feel as bad for not driving out to help you with your tire. I don't know if that makes sense, but
100%. Yeah. Like, while that is true, it's a forced resilience. It's not one that they wanted to have. It's life as they know it, sadly. Right. It's a forced upon them resilience, and it doesn't make it better that they are resilient by force. It's a blessing, yes, but it's tragic. it's not okay, and they shouldn't have to be forced into this resiliency that they have.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And I find myself like, yeah, having trouble with saying like, God, they're so strong and resilient, because I don't want people to think, okay, they've got it. They're okay.
Yeah.
They're so strong and resilient, because they don't. They're breaking down. They're human.
Right.
Like us. They have the same emotions. They hurt. They have pain, emotionally, physically, like sleeping on the ground for 3 years
Yeah.
in all sorts of weather. Like, come on, with rats everywhere. And, they've got rashes and diseases that are even unknown to the world. Like, we don't even know because they don't have a lab to test for. Like, they're dealing with so much, and it's not comfortable.
Yeah. That's why, like, people will say, oh, the people of Gaza, they're unbreakable. I agree with the sentiment. But
they're human.
But they're human, and they break.
They break.
They make collectively their spirit, their iman, especially their faith.
I had suicidal patients.
Tell us more about that.
I had people who attempted suicide.
Wow.
And one kid was successful. And they're human.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to deal with that. Like, any of us who've lived in this leisure and privilege in America wouldn't last 2 weeks.
Right.
We would not last 2 weeks. All of us would be like, oh my God, like, I want out. Like, just rid me. Like, we wouldn't last. There's no way. We're so comfortable and privileged here that there's no way we could do what they're doing. However, like I said, they're born into this mess, sadly.
Yeah.
They're used to it a little bit, but it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it okay. It makes it tragic, and it makes it like it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
It makes it more dire for us to make it end. No human deserves to live like this. And it's not just them. It's also Lebanon, and it's also Syria, and it's also Sudan, and it's also Congo, and they all are going through something. It's really bad, and they shouldn't be. And we're like, yeah, they got it. They're used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Even I think about, like, and I think you and I may have even discussed this at one point. I remind everybody how people were getting in fights during COVID over Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
They were fighting people. People were going on eBay and buying them for hundreds of dollars, and then they were stolen by the people doing the deliveries. And people were like, they were literally like, they became drugs. People were like, I got toilet paper. You need toilet paper. And so I remind people, like, every single time, like, especially in the DC area, or even where I was born, like in Michigan, when they say it's going to snow, everybody's like, snow is coming. And they rush out and they grab all this extra stuff and all this food, and they go into panic mode. Yet these people in these areas you're talking about, like you said, it's not just Gaza. It's also, by the way, West Bank, people being pulled from their homes, and people in Lebanon and all over, right? These people are expected to just kind of like make do in situations that so many people that are places of privilege would never be able to handle. Like,
can you imagine us desalinating our water?
Should desalinated water. Think about, like, my cousin was telling me, Lana, they were saying, Saeed, we're eating the bones of sardines, and we're crumbling the bones of the sardines because we're told this will give us essential nutrients.
Oh boy.
I have no problem. I have no shame in admitting to people, I don't even eat sardines, because I'm like, what am I going to do with this small little fish? Like, I'm a big guy. Like, I need a big whole fish. These guys are like, we're not even eating the fish. We're eating the bones of the fish. Like,
they're so sick of tuna. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They've made tuna every day for like 3 years, and like, they get creative with it.
Yeah.
Everything, but like, they're sick of it.
So I want to know from you then, based on your experiences, what has become kind of like more meaningful for you since you came back?
Oh my God. So I was super superficial.
Mm,
I was into the name brand stuff, the designer clothes and bags and shoes and all that stuff. And um that has all like gone down the drain. Like now I'm like, if I have disposable income like that, then it's going to charity. Like I'm not gonna buy myself anything nice. Um, do I like it? Sure, but I won't invest in it anymore ever again.
right.
What I have is what I have, but I will never make a purchase like that again. So it's made me more financially, cognizant of where I'm spending my money.
Yeah.
So I've changed in that way. I talk about it all the time, every
Yeah.
day, all day. It's on the top of my head. That's all I can think about. So it's changed me in that way that it's literally my favorite yet most tragic,
Yeah.
topic of discussion. And then the way I'm spending my finances.
Yeah.
And every move I make in life, it's like, how can this benefit Palestine and Lebanon, Syria? Like letting the world know about Zionism and what's happening. من تحت راس Zionism.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie Castaway?
Long time ago, I don't even remember it with Tom Hanks. I can't even
Tom
remember.
Hanks. Yeah. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to be like, Tom Hanks is this, or the producer is that, or I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I am just talking about one particular part where in the movie, because he's kind of on this deserted island, right? Which by the way, he won an award for because they said it was so realistic, but somehow they're afraid to give him awards for actually living without access to anything. So anyway, he basically is trying to like make fire, and he took so long to like be able to catch a crab so he can eat it. And when he gets back, he like takes a lighter and just keeps turning it off and on as like, look how easy fire is now. And he's got just all of this leftover food from the party they had for him, and he's just grabbing a crab that nobody ate, like and lobster claws, and he's just looking at it, and he's just like, huh. And I can't help sometimes I sit there and I say to myself, like, I was always raised to say haram, haram, don't throw, don't haram, haram, haram,
Right.
but I'm still very much that way where like I feel like I'm not as consistent as I want to be, and I pick and choose. I'll admit I don't pick and choose when I want to abide by my own rules. I feel like my memory goes in and out, and I'm trying to work on remembering and being more thankful about things like FIFA for World Cup. I was like, guys, they're like, oh, we have to go represent our countries, and I was like, I get it. This $1,000, like $2,000 to $3,000, so you can wave a flag for a game. I don't know. It feels weird. It feels weird. Like, do we have to? Like, halas, like, let's just pull that money and look what we can
Yeah.
do with it.
How do you feel about Umrah?
What is it?
How do you feel about Umrah?
So I probably, without it getting into a religious conversation, because I'm probably not fit to have that. I personally feel like people who want to make Umrah, that's if that's their time, I would never want to tell someone to not go and kind of cheat them out of their opportunity. It does get into a conversation on intention and that being between you and Allah. And I can't imagine myself, missing opportunity. Like Hajj is a bigger thing for me to talk about in a lot of cases,
Of course,
because
that's fun. Like you have to, right? But Umrah is not. And
I
all
know
that
people who
money.
go to multiple Hajj, like they go to Hajj multiple times, and I'm like, I don't
Hey,
know.
that's an invitation from God, though.
Yeah.
That one, I don't. So I don't knock that. But Umrah, I've been getting irritated. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm like, all that money, because first of all, they're crooks for the amount of
Yeah.
money that they are taking from people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're making it unaffordable. Like, not everyone can afford to go the way, like, what Hajj is like, what, 10, 20,000?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's expensive. I don't know how much Umrah is, but like, there was even a sheikh that came out and was like, your money being donated to these countries would do you more service right now than to make Umrah. Like,
Yeah.
it's not fard, so you don't have to. Like, it's
Sure.
better off. Like, and inshallah, God will, like, reward you as if you did make Umrah, but
Yeah.
donate that money there, because it's like, I don't want to give it to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Crooks. They're taking
Yeah.
all this money for you to make pilgrimage. Like,
Yeah.
they're making so much money off of this, and they're not doing anything for their neighbors who
Yeah.
are undergoing genocide. South of Lebanon looks like Gaza. It's
Yeah.
wiped. South of Lebanon is terrible, and no one's talking about it.
I've gotten into some conversations specifically about Saudi, and the conversations always end up at a place where I never intended it to be, because people change the subject, where it's just like, you're saying people shouldn't make, that's not what we said. You're saying people shouldn't, no, that's not what I said. You're saying it shouldn't have a cost to go. I didn't say it shouldn't have a cost. I'm just saying, you know damn well, especially with the price of oil and all these things, you know damn well, if they wanted to, that can just be, make it a lottery, make it free. You know you can afford it, by the way. Like, it's not like, I've seen the Swarovski crystal bedazzled Mercedes AMGs that are driving around, out there. Not saying everybody's like that, so just in case they kill me in the comments. But I am talking specifically about the governments out there remind everybody all the time how much that they can invest. And I would just say, maybe invest a little bit less in a new golf league and more in how to make it affordable for people to go. Or, they honestly could also pull some strings if they wanted to even allow more people, even in Palestine, to go for Umrah. But yeah, it's.
Literally, they could have ended all of this by stopping the gas. Like,
Yeah.
Cut it off for a day. Let's see what happens.
The
last time the king did that, they killed him.
I said that once, where I said, if gas prices went up, like, I think when gas prices started going up in the US, suddenly, what are we doing in Iran became barbershop talk. Like, people were like, yeah, what's going on? Because my price of the gas went up. I was like, man, if one of those countries just took everything up to like 7 or 8 gallons and just put out a social media post that says, because of what's happening in Palestine, gas is now $9 a gallon, you will find protests with 7 million people in DC talking about, let's fix this problem, get these gas prices back to normal.
Very true. Very true.
SubhanAllah. So one of the things that you did, by the way, Lana, which I think is great, and I told you that I just got this, and I'm going to dig into it a little bit more. With my little background here, it might be hard to see, but I'm going to kind of go slow if people can see it.
Yeah, Healing Under Fire.
Yeah, exactly. Healing Under Fire. Lana has this book that she wrote, and I'd love to hear,
like, how I even came about. It's
funny. Like when did you start penning this?
No, so I initially was I was sharing a note with my son, and I let my siblings eventually tap into it. Like, I had a shared note with them.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a diary every day to let them know what was happening, what I saw, just in case, God forbid, I died, then they can tell my stories.
Yeah.
So it started off with that. So every day, every situation, every circumstance I came across, a tragic incident or anything, I would write it down, and I would like timestamp it so my siblings knew what was happening. Hey, there's been a bombing near the hospital, or hey, this just happened, that just happened, power went out, whatever, everything. I would just like update my phone so that they would see in real time what was happening. And so when I came back, I was just like looking at all my notes to my son and my siblings, and I was like, dang, like this is like a lot. And
Yeah.
then I was telling, oh, my friend was looking over my shoulder, and I was like, yeah, look at this. Like, this is wild. On this day, this happened and that happened. And she's like, girl, you should like make a book out of this. Like, you should put it in a book. Like, like get a ghostwriter to like make it a story for you. But like, this is important for
Yeah.
people to see. Like, this was a week in a life of a volunteer in Gaza.
When was the timing? Your first go round, because I'm going to talk a little bit about your second go round. But your first go round, dates wise, whatever you can share, like what month, year were you like there?
Yeah, January to February of 2024. So I was one of the first groups in.
Okay.
Which is funny because I applied to go with group 3 because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of group 1. Let's see what happens with them first.
Yeah.
Plus,
Sure.
it was winter. I was like, let me wait for the weather to be better. Like
Yeah.
I was like, let me just, feel this out. And then the organizer called me and was like, no, with your skill set, we need you to go with group 1.
Wow.
So it was ready or not, here I come. Like all of this happened within like a 2-week span. And I was like, before I knew it, I was in Gaza, and I was like, what? Like, that's the way my stars aligned. It was like a force that just like pushed me there. Ready or
Yeah.
not, here you go. And everything happened with ease. Like I was able to raise like $10,000 within less than a day. I was able to buy a whole bunch of, that was back when we were allowed to bring supplies and equipment.
Right.
And so I was able to purchase a whole bunch of stuff and take bags with me to Gaza, and everything just happened so fast. And so that's how that started.
Yeah.
My parents, this was like I said, like first group. So I think we were all pretty like ignorant. We were like, oh, like Israel's not going to harm us. #World Central Kitchen, RIP.
Right.
But we're like, I'm American. I'm going to be safe there.
Yeah.
Know my every steps that I'm taking because we coordinate with the Israeli government every step that we take. And so we naively thought like, oh, we'll be safe. But I found out there that there's no safe place in Gaza. And in fact, there was this one day that if I had not run the group behind by like 5-10 minutes, we'd have been underneath the bombs that they were carpet bombing around the hospital with.
Wow.
Yeah, they had given us a green light to leave the hospital at 5 p.m. And I went to look for a bathroom. So I'm like walking around trying to find where a bathroom is in the hospital. Because back then, it was the sanctuary. So everybody was living in the hospital. Thousands of people were living out of the hospital. You can't see the ground.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for a bathroom, and then this girl stopped and talked to me for a while. And 5 o'clock, green light, literally at like 5:02, it starts raining bombs around the hospital. I was like, if I didn't run the group behind, we'd have been in the bus on the way.
And there was a time, Lana, when I was in Gaza as a kid, and I had that moment of like, I'm good. Like I'm American. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. I was wearing shorts and a Michael Jordan jersey, which is bright red, and you'll see why that's a problem here in a second. And that was during. Well, it was bright red jersey, Chicago Bulls, and that was during the time of curfews in Gaza. So this was a while back because Israel was still patrolling inside of Gaza on a daily basis. So suddenly they told me, they're like, my cousins are like, hey, it's getting to, I think it was like 9 o'clock. You might want to go back to your grandfather's house. And I was like, guys, we'll be okay. You're like, I got my passport. We're good. Suddenly, I'm walking, and that was when the roads were still sand because they lived near the beach. This was in Gaza City. So I start going back, and suddenly spotlight from helicopter starts going down the road. And now I'm wearing this red Jordan jersey, and I'm like, oh no. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Maybe they're just patrolling. And I start hearing, and they were firing from the helicopter, and I was hearing it hit the sand.
Oh shit.
This was just yards away, basically 20, 30 yards away from me. And I eventually get to the doorstep of my grandfather's house, and I hid in the trash can. They had the Bermil trash can, and I was like, I just gotta hide in this thing. And I start knocking on the door from the trash can. I'm sure anybody in the helicopter saw a trash can leaned up against the door and wondering what's happening. But I'm hitting on this, and although I can kind of smile about this now, what happened next, my grandfather was suffering from Alzheimer's. So as I start to knock on the door, he's like, me, and I was like, Saeed, you know, I'm your grandson. And he's like, who's Saeed? And I'm like, oh no. And that was the moment I eventually get inside. My mom lets me inside. I sit down and I'm like, what are they thinking? She goes, what are you thinking? What do you, like, you thought that they're going to check your passport from you think they care about those things? And so it was my moment as a kid where I was like, okay,
there's no safe place.
There's no safe place. And what I couldn't, what I couldn't do for 15 minutes is what, is what Gaza is going through by the second of, like hearing drones, like just knowing to like
triggering.
I can't imagine.
And at night is when it gets louder, and you're like, oh, because it's they're doing it like in spite, like to trigger you. And it makes you so mad. Like I was so triggered every night because it would get so loud at night.
Yeah.
And it's literally, it's dystopian, dude. It's like you're in a sim lab, like a game. Like there's like a bunch of drones above you. You don't know which one's an assault drone, which one's a surveillance drone. I remember back in the day in the DMV when we had the sniper.
Oh, I thought you were about to say cicadas for the sound.
Oh, the snipers.
Yes. Yeah, that happened near my house.
Names. It was like John. But so there were those two snipers and people were walking in zigzags to Michael's and like gas. Remember? That's how I felt. Like I was like, I feel like I need to walk in zigzags just all these drones.
But you said something interesting when you were on the Samud podcast. You said, I wrote it down in my notes here. You said when you got to Gaza, or when you were kind of working with some of the people in Gaza, you said, quote, these people are about to teach me life. And I'd love to hear more about that.
When we were driving in, it was nighttime, and I was already nervous about that because there's curfew. So we should really be driving. So at night, it's like you're free game. Like we could be target practice.
Yeah.
Our bus. So I was like really nervous about that. But we were driving down the shoreline and it's all tents. And I'm looking and I'm like looking inside of the tents too. And you can see they've made it a home. Like they've made kitchens in there. They've made like adas in there. They've made it a home. And I was like, dang, like how can you make this tent a home?
Yeah.
And they're all everywhere. And I'm just like, wow, they're really about to teach me life. They're about to teach me survival. They're about to teach me samud. They're about to teach me patience. Like they're about to teach me life. That's it. I was just like mind blown by the way that they were living and the way that they were able to make it livable.
Yeah.
Like I went, and so the second go around, I went to a couple tents and like I was mind blown. I was like you've made this pretty homely.
Yeah.
Like, how can you do that? Like it's wild. It's a tent at the end of the day, but they make it look like a home inside. They even hang up stuff like pictures on the wall, like to make it look like a home.
Yeah.
They want any sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
They keep saying we're people from Gaza, we love life. That's their favorite line. They're like, we love, second to Tiglagish. It's we love life.
Yeah.
They just want to live and they love life.
I know my cousin had sent me a photo. He said he's been making toys, and he takes the like 20-ounce soda looking bottle or water bottle, and then he takes 4 bottle caps and he turns it into like a car.
Yeah.
And so his kids
So
were using that as like their little toy car.
yeah.
And it's
Oh, yeah.
intense. It's
They did
intense.
that in the hospital. They had to get innovative with the way that they would like splint people. They would take a cardboard or a wood, like a piece of wood or cement, and be like, here's your cast. We're going to just wrap this with tape and this is your cast. Or, like they were using like Foley catheters. You know what that is? The tube that you put in your urethra.
Yeah.
They would use that as chest tubes. Like they just had to reinvent the wheel. Like they had to make things work. They would throw like IV tubing over like the ceiling, like ballast, or I don't know what it's called, and like use that to hang like IV bags on, like because they didn't have holes or anything. Like it was wild. I was like, they're really gonna teach me everything.
Yeah.
Like Boy Scouts on crack. Like,
and I'm out here hanging out with people who are like, this thing automatically pokes all the holes into the foil for the argila. And I'm like, wow, so technologia, yani, so wow, we're so advanced out here. And these folks are surviving. And yet, and you can correct me on this, Lana, or maybe add to it. And yet, from what everyone tells me that goes and comes back and things, and I have conversations with people, or I see podcasts or conversations, they still say those people in Gaza are still so hospitable.
They'll give you their last bite of food. Like, please come over to our tent for shai. Please come. Like, and then when you go to the hospital, they will always make tea. Like, there's always tea. I don't know. That's one thing they haven't seemed to have run out of. But they will always serve you tea. Like, they would have one big plate of food for the staff, and it was like 5 nurses on at a time, like female nurses.
Yeah.
And that was for the female nurses to share this one big plate of food, literally like a sahan, like this big. And they would share with like one spoon. They would take turns because they only had one spoon.
Yeah.
So, and they would offer me, and I'd be like, there's no way I'm eating like 5 people for this one plate. There's no chance I'm eating your food, and I'm not sharing that spoon because they all have like hepatitis or whatever. Boy, do you know, eat trail mix for 5 days straight and get hungry. I sure as heck did. By like day 6, I started eating with them a little bit. I was like, I'm just going to have like 2 bites because I'm starving.
Yeah.
And I sure did. Same spoon. And I was like, like, God, please don't give me hepatitis.
Do you remember that one child on it kind of, I don't know if you want to call it viral, but like it was on Instagram, and there was this child that they had found in the streets and clearly hadn't had any food for a long time, and they bring him into the car and they give him a shawarma, or give her maybe a shawarma, and it was a shawarma with fries, and they're asking this child, when was the last time you ate? And it was like days. And so with all of this, when they said, here, have the shawarma, the kid literally says,
yes, I remember this. I have goosebumps. Oh, that's how they are. Literally, that's how they are. The amount of gifts that I got so many gifts on my way out. They all were gifting me like just anything, like from their home, like their own thobes or their own Qur'ans or mesbahas, whatever it is. They just wanted to gift me something to remember them by. Like, they are so generous. Like, it's wild. I was like, oh my gosh, the way that they, like, you're living amongst a genocide. Right now, your thoughts should just be, how do I survive, right? But they're like trying to make it fun. Like the nurses would like close the door, the break door, and put on music and start dancing. And I'd be like, what's happening? Like, it's literally like, there's gunshots outside. You hear like, and you hear bombs, and people are being brought in. And there's like a 5-minute reprieve where they're just like, we're just going to dance it off real quick. And they're like dancing. And I'm like, to shik shak joke. And I'm like, is this real? Is this real? It's therapeutic for them and it gets them by, whatever. God bless. But I'm like, is this for real right now? However, there's also, as expected, Darwinism will kick in and survival of the fittest will kick in. And so there is a lot of theft. There is a lot of murder. There is a lot. It's going to happen. If I was there, my son is hungry, I'm stealing. I'm doing whatever it takes for the kid to survive. If it means me stealing food, I'm stealing food, whatever it is. Darwinism will kick in and survival of the fittest. Like you've got to do what you got to do to survive. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Not that it makes it right, but.
And yet.
That's the situation they're in.
And yet the hardest thing for me is I went to Dearborn and I saw the Wall of Tears. I don't know if you heard about this exhibit. They just put it up in Dearborn, Michigan over the last couple weeks. And it's basically it's all the names of every child that has been killed in Gaza up until January. I hope I'm not saying this right. I believe it was January 2025. And every child has their own line with their age. And the most heartbreaking thing, there was multiple heartbreaking things. First of all, just standing back and saying, what are all those lines, and knowing that they're children,
right?
That's heartbreaking, right? The second heartbreaking thing was reading all of the ones that say under 1 year, one for their ages, under 1 year. And then even worse, our dear friend Hani al-Madhoun, who his family running the Gaza soup kitchen. When I was there, I said, Hani, have you had a chance to come here yet? I called him and he said, no, I haven't. I said, don't worry. I'm gonna find all the al-Madhouns. And I found myself spending over an hour searching for all the al-Madhouns. And I even when I called Hani back, I said, I'm going to send you a picture of their name. And he said, okay. Lana, I sent 16, 17 photos of names. Even Hani himself is like I don't want to misquote here, but I think one of the names was like, let's say Omar. And again, my apologies, Hani. I don't want to mess up the story, but there would be 3 of them. And so he would say like Omar Adish Hamro, and I'm like 12. He's like, oh, okay. 12 bikun ibn so and so. It's a 7 bikun ibn so and so, who is a 3 bikun, and I'm like, and so I spent the time, Lana, and I read every name. Why I read every name? Because I want to be able to, when I hear the names, and I hear people say their last names, I want to be able to say, I remember seeing those names. And for the rest of the time that I was in Dearborn, if I was at a restaurant, or if I saw the name, so-and-so lawyer, I would read their name and go, I wonder if they're related to, because I saw Betel so-and-so on the list. It's so intense, but what sometimes I get mad about, and this is coming from like a former humanitarian worker at this point, right? It's that it's the nature of the beast that we have to talk numbers because it gives people an idea on scale. But when we talk numbers, even as Arab, when we talk about Lebanon or we talk about Palestine or Syria or Iraq or wherever it may be, Yemen, we talk like, oh, there was an airstrike. Oh, did it kill a lot of people? Not did it kill anyone? Did it kill a lot of people? And then you would say, yeah, I specifically remember saying this to someone who will remain nameless. I said, I think it was like 1 or 2. They're like, oh, so it wasn't like a big, look what's happened to us.
Yeah.
Hind Rajab, our hero. Yeah, our hero, Hind Rajab. One girl, like Allah yarhamha, They'll accept her as a martyr. Um, Hind Rajab, one girl, one story, one movie, and then multiply that times 100,000. Look at all the stories we haven't heard.
Yeah.
All of the had the doctora that lost all her kids,
Yeah.
and you know, and
Twins,
just
right?
yeah, like and the sister who, like, during Ramadan when I was texting a lot of people and I would say, hey, I want to make dua for you. What do you want me to make dua? And believe me, Lana, like a third of the people told me fertility issues. Make dua for me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, Ed. Well, guess what? There are people like the stories of these women. Not to take it away from the men who are the fathers, but I'm saying the stories of these women who spent 10, 12, 15 years trying to have a child. They finally have a child, and these hayawanat in a moment.
Kill them. It's crazy. It's
And
wild.
it's very crazy to me. But I will tell you this. You know, sometimes when I think about this, I even get emotional. But I will say that, at least for me, like in in Islam, you know, and what I believe and what I practice, we are told that when our time comes, if inshallah we're able to make it to paradise, we're able to make it to heaven, people that we helped, even if we've never met them or they've never met us, people that we've helped, or something, you know, if we've done something for someone, we will be able to meet them. You'll
Mm.
see them and you'll know each other. They will know you and you will know them.
Yeah.
And I will tell you,
Oh,
um,
goosebumps. Oh,
I will tell you, Lana, like this is what I used to say to Hani, and I'll say the same thing to you. Inshallah, بعد عمر طويل, you all find
reunion.
yourself in paradise, and I just hope I can make it there as well, just to be there with folks like you and Hani, and an amazing place to where we can look at each other and just ask, how was the meeting?
Yeah.
Because just
Yeah.
there, because I believe all of those people, mashallah, are going to have the finest palaces in paradise. And wallahi, I can't wait, because um, sometimes you went through a very difficult thing, and I praise you for it. And I know you don't want the praise, but I praise you
I was
for
a
it.
witness. That was it. Did I really help?
Yeah, but this is the thing
But I
that's the answer. That's the answer we can never answer.
no.
It's not-
I'm like,
we-
did I help? Did I help? If I did help prolong someone's life, did I do them a service or a disservice? Like
but
it's
you know what? Into you almost. I will tell you this. This is just uh, your brother here telling you this. Is that um, this question is not for you to answer.
right. Inshallah khair.
You know, now you have something. You were given something that most people don't have the ability to say, which is when you say inshallah and when you say alhamdulillah, you mean it different than most people. That to me,
I mean,
that's a blessing.
yeah, inshallah. Inshallah. But yeah, no, it's I would love to reunite with our martyrs. There are nurses that we've lost that or doctors, med students that tear my heart when I think about them. Like I pray that I can reunite with them. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's so tragic, but I mean, I know that everything is written, and I try to remind myself that like God's plan is the best plan, but it doesn't mean we just like sit back and let it happen, right? Like it's God also
God,
wants to be.
God will only judge you on if you did everything in your capacity to do what you can. You're wearing a sash. I'm holding a book. You've gone to Gaza. It's not up to me what your ultimate destiny is, but
Yeah.
if I had a vote,
Oh,
don't worry, Yani. And I know I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know we're kind of getting towards the end of time. I want to be respectful of your time. You know, this is usually the part where I say let's pour some shai. Are you a shai or ahwa person?
Shy. I don't like coffee at
Chai?
all.
Okay, so I'll get you some
Chai
chai.
only with nana.
All right, here we go. Gotta hear the spoon. Mazbuta. Tell me real quick before we kind of get to Al-Bab. Number one, what gives you now? You've done these things. You're working towards a second book to talk about your second round. Tell me a little bit about that, and then I want to find out how people can rally behind you or be inspired to do something like you.
So yeah, second book is about my second experience there during the pseudo ceasefire. So I'll be talking about the way that looked for me there, and then I was the only American present that day that they released. They released like a couple hundred hostages, Palestinian hostages, to European Gaza hospital. And so I'll be talking about what I witnessed with that and the stories that I've gotten from the hostages that I spoke with. So that's what that's about. Me, you reminded me when you were talking about like the names written down.
Yeah.
Our brother Haytham, who just came back from the flotilla.
Yeah.
He was telling me, or he was saying, and I've heard other people who've been on the flotilla say that they saw names written in Arabic on the walls of Palestinian hostages in the Israeli prisons. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I wish that they remembered the names that they saw, or like, I know the Americans, like, you know, the non-Arabs don't know how to read Arabic and whatever, but at least like the ones who can read Arabic,
right.
I wish that they would remember, because there are so many people that I know there that don't know where their loved ones are. They were abducted and they don't know if they're alive or not. So it'd be so nice if those names could be spoken out loud. Like, you know, like, what's his name? Ashraf al-Agha. That's one guy. Like a security officer in the hospital. He was looking for his brother. He's been gone for over a year and a half. He has no idea his whereabouts, where he is. He just knows that they abducted him, and that's it. He doesn't know if he's dead or alive, whatever. I don't know. So I wish that, like, if anybody ever gets put into an Israeli prison, like, please, like, try to pay attention to these names if you can read Arabic, and remember them and say their names.
For sure. And you said the first time that you were there was the start of 2024. Mm-hmm. So your second round, timing wise,
year later, in February, March of 2025.
So then you may have heard of a doctor that was the first doctor to basically freeze to death, who died of hypothermia at the end of 2024. I guess near the European hospital for the Mawasi area. That was my cousin.
Ooh.
Allah yirhamu. So I and in fact, this is an example of what a lot of the families even kind of go through outside of Gaza when they're trying to find their family members. This was sent to, I believe, either myself or my sister, an article about the doctor. And it wasn't until we read the name that we realized, wait a second, that it's a unique name. I'm not going to get into the names, you know, for the sake of my family's kind of protection there. But when we saw it, I was like, no. And the story, at some point we'll produce something about this, because his particular story on how he was able to get himself to even be a doctor, and how he didn't want to leave too far from the hospital. So he slept in a tent next to the hospital for a year and ultimately froze to death. You know, it
was unbearable. I don't know how anybody survives it. In the winter, I was in the first time I was in a safe house, and I was shivering, and I had two, you know, those old school fob blankets. I had two of those over me, and I'm shivering in a house.
Yeah.
Imagine on the shore, like, it's more cold where the water is and everything. And there are babies in the tents. And I'm like, how are they maintaining their heat?
Yeah.
Like, it's wild how anyone can survive that. I was struggling in a house with blankets. Right. And I was like teeth chattering, shivering.
And that's why a lot of a lot of them were killed simultaneously because a lot of them were packing into their tents together. And yeah, it's it's definitely heartbreaking, and not necessarily to pivot, but I definitely wanted to talk about this because again, all of this is my curiosity, Lana. I ask a lot of these questions, so anybody who's watching or listening, sorry, it's really about me. I want to ask these questions. You had been in the medical field for around 20 years or so, a lot of which, the majority of which, you worked in like a hospital setting. And I know, you're known as Nurse Lana. You eventually started your own medical spa, right? And my question is, I don't know timeline wise when the entrepreneurship started, where you wanted to start, but was it something like where you came back and you were just like, all right, I'm doing something different, or was this just coincidental?
It was established before. So I
Established
was
before.
concierge, like vitamin IV drips,
Okay.
for since 22.
Okay.
And then I just opened a brick and mortar like 9 months ago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the brick and mortar, or would you prefer just leave it alone?
Yeah,
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
I've already had somebody call our property manager
Wow.
and ask for my number, which she gave, my personal number. I know.
Yeah.
And so then this person called me and I didn't answer because I didn't know the number. And then
Yeah.
they texted me, I'd like to make an appointment. And like 5 minutes after that, they sent me a photo of myself and wrote like silly hoe or something like that. And that person, when they called the property manager and got my number, after she gave them the number, they were like, by the way, do you know that this girl is anti-Semitic? Do you see what she's posting online? Yada, yada, yada. So I don't know, some Zionist got a hold of where I worked and yeah.
This is life. This is a new reality. But
yeah, I've made it. Yay. My most proud moment.
Yeah.
This year is actually, that's the day I found out. So this was, this year. That day, because I was like, where did they find this photo of me? So I Googled my name.
Yeah.
And the first thing that pops up, I see Canary Mission. And I was like, heck yes, goals. I made it. I made it. Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So it's the most honorable list. And I am more than beyond honored to be on it. So I'm in the Canary Mission, and that's where they got that photo of me from. And so,
it's serious.
I want to thank my Zionists that got me there, and they've been like looking for where I work, like, oh, which hospital is she working in? And they've been guessing all these like hospitals in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area and whatever. And so now I'm like, haha, I don't work in a hospital.
Or do you? Wink, wink. Maybe you do. Throw them off, right? Well, either way, people can follow you at nurse_Lana on social media. Also, as we start to kind of pivot towards our end here, which is the Albab portion, as you all know, Arab, mashallah, when we get to the door, we continue the conversation long after you tied your shoes. Khalas, you took the leftovers, you're ready to leave. And we say, oh, ala fikra, one more thing. And so this is your ala fikra, one more thing moment, Lana. And as part of this Albab, where I kind of hit you with some rapid fire questions, have a little fun here as we kind of wrap up. There's a nonprofit element to this, where if I ask some questions and you're unable to answer them, or you're like, man, I can't pick between, I don't know, Melfouf or what, not that that's on there, but let's say it was, then you have to donate to the organization of your choice. But if you get through all of it, I donate to the org of your choice. But before we jump right into the questions, Peace Med. Talk to me about Peace Med, which people can get more information at peace-med.com. But talk to us about that and why you picked it.
Peace Med. So Peace Med is a group of nurses and doctors healthcare workers who have volunteered in Gaza or even in Lebanon, who have bore witness to the genocide and have been speaking out against it, doing a lot of advocacy on the Hill, making movies, documentaries, writing books, publishing in journals, like every avenue that they can take to like bring awareness to this, they are. So shout out to the Peace Med family. They have been my family ever since. It's a trauma bonded family. Where like we feel like sometimes like no one else gets us but each other. Some like I'll say my own family, like they'll be sick of it. They'll be like, okay, enough. It's all you ever talk about, right? But like my Peace Med family gets it, and we can talk about it all day, all night, and not get sick of the topic. And so they've been my sense of comfort, and they're officially nonprofit, 501c3.
Okay, great.
So so that's where I would choose to donate to.
All right, so we're gonna go for anybody who needs more info on that. Again, peace-med.com. And so, are you ready for this rapid fire set of questions?
Go.
Okay, so this is gonna be testing some Arabness here. All right, so I'm about to name two different singers. You have to pick one that you keep, and one we delete their entire catalog from history. Okay. All right, so you got to pick one. The other one vanishes.
Okay.
From the music world. Kulthum or Fairuz?
I'm sorry. Bye, Kulthum. Sorry. It's so
did not make the cut.
It's so boring, and the instrumental takes like an hour to get to, like, before she sings. Like, I'm sorry, but it reminds me of Sunday breakfast when they're making breakfast, in the kitchen, and then they're playing Kulthum, and it's like, it's so boring. And her
when they first came out with that like 8 gigabyte iPod, just show you how old I am. Kulthum, like 6 songs would make it on the iPod because they were kind of long. But they'll get you in the comments. The Kulthum lovers are gonna come at you. But I'm guessing you can handle it. All right. So here's some fun questions. If you travel a long distance for an Arab wedding, do you change your gift amount? Are you taxing them for your expenses? No? No way. Really? Okay.
No.
See, you're nice. Anna, if I travel internationally, I cut it in half for sure.
Nah.
All right.
No, but you should be more generous because they need it more.
You're assuming that we're talking about like maybe
overseas.
Yeah. What if it's in like Dubai or something? They may, everybody's.
And then that would be embarrassing if we only show up with $100.
All right. So let's just say hypothetically, you have a friend who is now, they got married, they got divorced, didn't work out, and now they're on marriage like number 4. Do they still get a gift? Auntie, you're too nice. Mashallah. To expect it for the 5th time. She had a 401k and your investment now?
It is. I have to have like an actual wedding on your 4th time, your 4th go around. Right. But hey, if they're having one, you got to. You can't just show up empty-handed. What are you gonna do?
That's true. Okay, so that's a good compromise. So we discussed this at the very top of the show, but I'm curious. For you, is hummus a meal, a dip, or a side?
I mean, a dip and side together. Like, it's a dip. It is a dip. That's the fact. But it's a side.
So you wouldn't sit down, take a nice fresh loaf of pita bread, and just have
consider that a meal? No. That is not a meal.
It's agree to disagree.
Consider that a meal?
I am what? Are you serious?
Well, I was about to say, what?
Of course. All right. What is you had mentioned favorite hot drink, but what is your favorite hot drink from the Arab world?
Yeah, only shy with Nana, nothing
Shai
else.
with Nana. All right. So let's say I gave you Shai with Nana. I can put you anywhere in the world. You sit down, you have your Shai with Nana, and we grant you one wish to let you sit across from one person from Arab history. Doesn't have to be religious, doesn't have to be family,
My great
living
uncle.
or alive. Who are you sitting with?
My great uncle.
Okay. All right, cool. So sitting with your great uncle, and I guess you're in Palestine, somewhere in those whereabouts
Yeah.
for that cup of tea. All
Yeah.
right. All right, cool. What's then this is a good one. So let's just say you show your friend your brand new car, or you show a group of friends a brand new car, whatever it is, and 5 minutes after you show your friends the car,
Hasad.
your your tire goes flat. Is it hasad or coincidence?
Evil
It's an
eye.
ain. Okay,
Easily evil eye.
guaranteed. All right, good. We're in agreement on that. What do you think is the most overrated Arab food?
Overrated?
Is there one?
Mm-mm. I don't think there's such thing.
All right, no overrated. Is there anything underrated? Doesn't get the love it should?
Fatat Magdous.
Fatat Magdous. That's the first on the podcast. Fatat Magdous. All right, most underrated. Okay.
It's so good.
So should I assume that you are somewhat knowledgeable about Arabic music at this point, even if it's modern music?
We can try. Like I know 90s.
Well,
Like
I was going to ask
that's
you if you could delete one Arabic song from history, what would it be?
Do you remember that song everybody talk about? Abu Yusuf.
Oh, Yusuf, yeah.
That could be gone.
And I would actually, people call me a hater. I say get rid of the happy birthday song. I just can't do it.
Oh,
I don't like the happy birthday to you. I just can't do it. It gets me so annoyed. All right. So if your doctor right now called you up and said, Nurse Lana,
Mhm.
you got to give up rice or bread. You can't do both. Which one are you dropping?
Rice.
Rice. Okay. All
I
right.
need more bread.
Yeah, bread is the thing. So here's my last question for you, and this is going to be very telling about who you are. So people are going to judge you on this. It's kind of probably a secret you want to keep, but you got to be honest. All right. If you are running an hour late for a dinner, and you know that because you pulled up your GPS, it says you are 1 hour from the destination, and you're supposed to be meeting your friend for this dinner, and your friend messages you and says, Lana, Wenik, how far are you? What's your answer?
I had to stop and put gas, and then I got delayed on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took up like an extra hour of my time, and I couldn't. It was live, so I couldn't be like, "Hey, I gotta go."
So you're not giving them a time when they say how far, how long it's going to be.
I mean, at that point, I'm already on my way there, though. But it's going to be an hour. Yeah, so I'll tell them I'll be there in 1 hour. I'm so sorry, I'm running behind because Saeed kept me for an additional hour than I expected. Then I also had to get gas.
And full disclosure, that's a hypothetical for everybody. I did not keep Lana for an extra hour, maybe extra 18 minutes, but not an extra hour. But I think you're the first one. I think you might be the first one who actually said they would tell them an hour. But you added, it's still kind of kizib because you were adding stuff to it.
Yeah, I'm lying about why that happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't ever be. So that question is so hypothetical because that would not be me. Anyone who knows me knows if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. I'm always the first person there.
Mashallah.
So for me to be late, then you legitimately like held me back, or I legitimately got a flat tire or something. Like I'm prompt.
All right. Well, either way, Lana, we definitely enjoyed having you on the podcast. We hope you come back and see us again soon. I want to remind everybody, make sure you go grab Healing Under Fire. It's Nurse Lana's eyewitness journey into Gaza. You can kind of see it there a little bit. It's kind of not showing. Make sure you grab that. I got mine online, so I'm sure everybody can get it online. So just Google it up and find it wherever you would like to purchase it. And also make sure you check out peace-med.com. That was a selected organization that Lana had. And then, of course, nurse_Lana. So thank you, Lana, so much for joining us on the Arab is Me podcast. We really appreciate you being here and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Of course. Yalla, take care, everybody. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow Arab is Me podcast. We hope to see you all on a future episode, or at least listening and watching the future episode. Yalla, salamat. Take care, everybody. Durrah, host of Arab is Me podcast. See you soon.